So bachcho, this was my last video where we discussed about negative acceleration versus deceleration. If you haven't seen the video, then go to the description box. The link is given that will help you to understand. Now today we are going to solve some problem, that is JEE main problem based on acceleration and deceleration. So without wasting time, let's go to the problem. So here is the problem given. The velocity of the bullet becomes 1/3 after it penetrates 4 centimeter. That means if I consider that initial velocity u1 is as v, it becomes 1/3. That means v1 is equal to 1/3 v, and s is equal to 4 centimeter. Fine. And assume that the bullet is facing constant resistance. The bullet stops completely after traveling this distance inside the block. Okay, that means A is not given, so we have to find out first A. So V1 square is equal to U1 square plus 2A S1, right? Now you put the values of them, that is V1 is 1/9, V square is equal to V square plus 2 A S1 is equal to 4, and here you are getting as minus 8/9 V square is equal to 8 A. So 8 gun V square means A is equal to, we are getting as minus 1/9 V square. Right? Now the bullet stops completely after traveling 4 plus x distance. That means after traveling x distance more, it stops. Therefore, if I consider it as case 2, okay, if I consider it as case 2, then here what would be the u2? u2 would be 1/3 v, right? And here the final velocity v2 is 0 because it stops. And here the distance s is x because x distance was traveled more, right? Now a is also known to us, now minus 1/9 v square that we have calculated just. Now again you use the formula, that is here v2 square is equal to u2 square plus 2as2. Now if you put the values, that is v2 square is equal to, here you will have 0 and u2 square is equal to 1/9 v square plus 2 multiplied with a, s2 is x and a is also known to us, that is minus 1/9 v square, so we will put it 19 v square plus 2 minus 1/9 v square x, right? Now therefore ux is equal to, finally we are getting as half is equal to 0.5. So you go to the option, let's see, yes, 0.5 is the answer. Okay. Now let's go to the next problem, that is a small toy starts moving from the position of rest. That means u is equal to 0 under a constant acceleration, therefore a is equal to constant. If it travels a distance of 10 centimeter in t second, that means s is equal to here 10. Okay, if I consider it as case 1, that means it is u1, this is your s1, and t1 is equal to t. Okay, therefore you see again that uast, if these terms are known to you, then which kinematic equation we can use? S is equal to, s1 is equal to u1t plus half a t1 square, right? Now since u1 is 0, therefore you are getting is as half a t1 is t square and your s1 is 10, right? So 10 is equal to half a t square, you give it as equation number suppose 1. Now next what is given, that the distance travelled by the toy in the next t second. Okay, that means now t2 is equals to t plus t, that means gives you 2t. Okay, we have to find out s2. Now see, in s2 10 centimeter is already traveled. Okay, now if we consider that x distance is more travelled by the toy. Okay, so and a is again constant, a is constant and u is also u1 would be 0. Okay. Now if you put in the same equation, that is s is equal to ut plus half a t square. Now you put the value. See that the initial velocity is 0. So therefore half a is constant and here t is 2t. That means 4t square. Okay. And s is what? 10 plus x. Okay. Now if you give equation number 2, then from equation 1 and 2 what you can get? From 1 and 2, if we divide it, then what we are getting? You see that 10 plus x over 10 is equal to, here half a gun, you are getting as 4t square over t square. 4t square over t square. So therefore you are getting as x is equal to 40 minus 10, that is equal to 30 meter. So therefore 3 is the answer. Now let's go to the next numerical. Here you see that in a car race on a straight path, car A takes time t less than car B. Okay, if I consider that car A as first car, okay, and car B as car 2, okay, car B as car 2. A takes a time t less than car B. That means if I consider T1, okay, T1 and T2, then T2 minus T1 is equal to T, because here you see that the car A takes a time t less than car B, okay, at finish and passes finishing point with a speed v more than car B. That means the speed of the car A is greater than car B. That means v1 minus v2 is equal to v. Okay. Now see that from this equation what you can get, that is t2 is equal to t plus t1. Okay. This is your equation number 1. Now v1 minus v2 is equal to v. Now you see, as we know that velocity is equal to acceleration into time, and also it is given that, see that the car starts from rest and travels with constant acceleration a1 and a2. That means acceleration since is given, therefore a1 t1 minus a2 t2. We can write it is equal to v. Okay. So a1 t1 minus a2, instead of t2 we can write it as t plus t1 is equal to v. Now from here what we can get, see that a1 minus a2 t1 minus a2 t is equal to v. Okay. Suppose you give it as equation number 2. Now one more thing we can write from this problem, that see that since both the car travelled same distance, both the car 1 and both the car 2, car 1 and 2 travelled same distance. So we can write it here as S1 is equal to S2. Can we write it or not? Now see that S is equal to, as we know, ut plus half at square. Now since it is from rest, so u is equal to 0. So we can write it finally as half a1 t1 square is equal to half a2 t2 square. Okay. Now instead of t2, a1 t1 square, okay, is equal to a2. Instead of t2 we can write it as t plus t1, right? t2 plus t1 whole square, sorry, it would be t plus t1 whole square. If we do the square root both sides, then we will get it at under root a1 t1 is equal to under root a2 t plus t1, isn't it? Now what we can get here? Under root a1 minus under root a2, here it is t1 is equal to under root a2 t. So therefore t1 is equal to under root a2 t over under root a1 minus under root a2. Okay. Give it as equation number 3. Now you put equation number 3 in equation number 2. Okay. Equation 3 in 2. If you put it, then what you can get, you see that A1 minus A2. Okay. A1 minus A2 multiplied with T1 is under root A2 over A1 minus A2 T. Okay, after that what we have, minus A2T. Okay, minus A2T is equal to V. Now A1, what we can write it as A1 square under root A2 square. Okay, we can write it as like this. Therefore, A plus B multiplied with A minus B, then ultimately we are getting as under root A1 plus under root A2 T minus A2T is equal to V. So here we are getting ultimately under root A1 A2 T plus A2T minus A2T is equal to, this is V. This was V. So this is your V. We are getting V is equal to under root A1 A2 T. Okay. Now you go to the option. Here option C is correct. Okay. Let's go to the next numerical. A car is moving with speed 150 km per hour. That means here first V is equal to 150 km per hour. That is your initial velocity. So we write it here as your U. That would be good. Or U1. Okay. Is equal to, since it is km per hour, so I will first convert it to meter per second. 518. So here you have 6, 15, 3, 25. That means you are getting as 125 over 3. After applying the brake, it will move 27 meter before it stops. If the same car is moving with a speed of 1/3 the reported speed, then it will stop after traveling which distance, that we have to calculate. Now here is a short trick. Let me tell you that if suppose the velocity becomes, this means the final velocity becomes n times the initial velocity. This is the final velocity U2. Okay, final velocity becomes n times of the initial velocity, then the final distance becomes n square times the initial distance. Okay, so therefore here you see that n is already given. N is equal to here 1/3, right? And here S1, that means the initial distance is also given, that is 27 meter. So 27 multiplied with 1/3 whole square. That means 1 over 9 multiplied with 27 gives you 3 meter. Okay, so 3 meter would be the answer. 3 meter would be the answer. Okay, this is the short trick. Now I hope after today's whole discussion, acceleration and deceleration concept is clear to you. You must practice these numericals. That will really help you to solve the numerical during your exam. Okay, it will help you to think more about the numerical, how to solve it, the short tricks, all these things you will learn. So you must practice it. Okay, and one more request, if you think that this new effort is helping you to make your physics easy, then you please subscribe my channel. That will really encourage me to create more content for all of you. Thank you. Stay happy, stay healthy.